Well, MAGA is very upset this morning. It's all because Obama was in Toronto and he met with Mark Carney before a gala where he was a keynote speaker at. Check out those comments under that post, shall we? Oh, Obama committed a federal crime where he has no immunity about. Uh-oh. Oh, Uncle Jonah thinks it's a coup.
So why is Obama meeting with the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney? Is he like a foreign diplomat or why? Why is he there? He's retired, isn't he? But lately he seems to be everywhere. He's like in every election that you see. If someone's redistricting, he's in that. The Virginia election, he endorsed Spamberger. He went and told everybody to vote yes to redistricting. He endorsed Katie Porter for governor of California. He's endorsing all the communists, by the way. And now this week he was in Canada meeting with this other communist globalist. The banker from London that didn't even live in Canada until recently, and he somehow became the Prime Minister of Canada. I even heard that he was paid to be a consultant during the Biden administration, and he was being paid like $2 million or something like that. And that allegedly he even had his own little office in Congress or the Capitol or the White House or something like that. That's allegedly. But why can't he just go away? Ask yourself. Was he handling the auto pen by any chance? Because we all know Joe wasn't governing. I mean, he wasn't even all the way up there. I mean, who was in charge, really?
So once again, the Republicans are triggered by President Obama. He could breathe and they'd be angry. And this time they're upset because he met with Prime Minister Mark Carney of Canada. That's it. Carney said on social media, "Welcome back to Canada, President Obama. Thanks for joining us in Toronto for important conversations on how we build a better future." Normal stuff, right? But for MAGA, they think that something deeper is going on. For example, Laura Loomer said, "Why is Obama meeting with world leaders while Trump is in office? This is a coup." She thinks that Obama meeting with Carney is an attempt to overthrow the United States government. Another popular MAGA account on Twitter said, "He's a former president. This violates the Logan Act." No, it does not. Honestly, I don't know what the F he thinks he's doing. The balls the Democrats have, unbelievable. I actually responded to that tweet by saying "this you," referencing her back in 2024, celebrating Donald Trump meeting with Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago. The MAGA Republicans hate Obama because he's better than Donald Trump in every single way, and people actually like him. He's one of the most popular politicians in America, despite leaving the presidency years ago. People still love him.
Obama does not currently hold any political office. He's no longer president, no longer making policies, and no longer sitting in the White House. Yet, somehow, every single time the man travels, gives a speech, makes someone's, meet someone or shake someone's hand, or simply existing publicly, the MAGA world react like the world is ending. And now, after Obama's recent appearance in Canada, and meeting Mark Carney, some MAGA supporters are once again absolutely very furious online. The reaction have honestly been fascinating to watch. Why is Obama in Canada? Why is he meeting foreign leaders? Why is he acting presidential? Why can't he just stay home? He's trying to undermine Trump. MAGA. You guys wake up. Anyway, guys, welcome back again to the YouTube channel. It's so good to have you. Thank you so much for clicking when you saw this video. So I'm going to let the rest of the videos roll, then I'll come back with more commentary. Credit belongs to original creators of those videos. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, share, and drop your own take in the comments. So let's go watch, then I'll come back with more.
Former U.S. President Barack Obama and current Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, both broke the internet overnight. All because Mark Carney posted a video of him meeting and shaking hands 8-second clip has caused the internet to absolutely erupt in anger and questions. What in the world is a former U.S. president doing talking to the leader of Canada? That is unacceptable. That is collusion. They are treasonous. They are working against Donald Trump. We demand both their heads. They should be thrown in jail. It's collusion. Hold Obama accountable under the Logan Act. And I'm like, the Logan Act. So that's when somebody who is a U.S. citizen but not part of the government involves themselves or talks to a foreign leader, from a leader from another country, right? Because isn't that what Donald Trump did when Biden was president? Because he admits that he talked to Putin. He admits that he talked to Viktor Orban. He admits that he talked to Netanyahu. Hell, I think even Netanyahu came to Mar-a-Lago at one point. So how is that not a violation of the Logan Act? But somehow this is. And the thing is that the reason that Barack Obama is even in Toronto meeting Mark Carney is not because he specifically came to Toronto to meet Mark Carney. No, he came because there is an event being put on by Canada 2020. It's a think tank convention. That's what it is. It's a think tank convention, a bunch of rich geniuses sit in a room and talk about all the things they think that they can do to make the world a better place. That's exactly what it is, right? I guess it's political in a sense, but it's not collusion. It's not treason. They're not purposely getting together. I mean, you have absolutely no proof of that's what's going on. And the thing is that this happens. I mean, Pierre Poilievre right now is at his own convention in Ottawa with U.S. representatives. U.S. representatives, I might add, that have said horrible things about Canada. Okay, and he's there speaking at the same convention as, as these U.S. representatives, and nobody's screaming collusion. Nobody's screaming, how dare he? I want his head. Like, it's just, I mean, to me, the optics don't look good because these are two of the representatives. One actually, Pete Hoekstra, was supposed to speak and then got pulled back to Washington. But these are people that have said things badly, that have said horrible things about Canada, and yet Pierre Poilievre is at a convention with them, right? But he's allowed to do that. Okay, Mark Carney is not screaming treason and collusion at him, is he? No, nobody's asking for his head. We can be unimpressed with it. Listen, a lot of people are allowed to be unimpressed with Mark Carney meeting with Barack Obama. A lot of people are allowed to sit there and go, you're allowed to have your thoughts. But to sit there and demand that people go to jail or people be held accountable or that it's treasonous is taking it too fucking far when your side does it as well. And I'm also noticing people are bringing up the fact that apparently George Soros was at this as well. And it's like, okay, so a billionaire was at a think tank with a bunch of rich, smart people. I'm not surprised. This, again, is not collusion. It's not treason. It's just what he would normally, the event that he would normally go to. And for the people that are getting upset that are like, oh, this is a billionaire involving himself in politics and trying to sway people and interfere. I'm sorry, did you not see all of the people that showed up to Trump's inauguration that got the special seats, all the billionaires that were there? Elon Musk especially loves to involve himself in politics, making sure that Donald Trump got reelected and such. You guys didn't have a problem with that? Because I kind of did. I mean, I don't think any billionaire should be influencing politics. But you can't sit there and point your finger at George Soros if you're not going to point your finger back the other way at your own billionaires on the Republican side. So, listen, again, I'm not saying people can't get upset. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But do not scream for the head of somebody or for someone to be legally held responsible if you are not going to legally hold responsible the rest of the people that are doing this as well on your side.
MAGA has erupted overnight over Barack Obama visiting Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. Barack Obama visited Canada, and now MAGA is suggesting that he should be arrested, that he's launching some type of coup. I mean, you can't really make these things up. You have folks like Laura Loomer saying, why is Barack Obama meeting with world leaders while President Trump is in office? This is a coup. You have another one, this is a big MAGA account on Twitter, saying Barack Obama is up in Canada holding private discussions with Mark Carney. Obama needs to sit down and figure his freaking place before his ass ends up in prison for violating the Logan Act. Mind you, Donald Trump met with world leaders in 2024 before he was president again and when he wasn't in office. There's nothing wrong with Barack Obama meeting with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, but it does upset them because Trump doesn't have a great relationship with Carney. And if Obama has a good relationship, well, that's not good for, I guess, MAGA in some way.
Listen, Obama goes to Canada and MAGA lose their minds. Listen, y'all, the man is a United States citizen and he can travel and go and do whatever he wants to do. But MAGA is upset that he's over in Canada and visiting and talking to Mark and things like that. So they're trying to say that he's doing something illegal because he up there talking to Canada and the Canadians don't even want to talk to Donald Trump. Nope. You know why they don't want to talk to Donald Trump? Donald Trump started all this mess with them. He started that tariff wars and all that with Canada, and they do not have any respect for him. They do not want to talk to him. So guess what? Canada love Barack Obama. So he was up there hanging out, and listen, MAGA done lost it, y'all. They mad. They want him to be arrested. What? So the man can't go to Canada, he can't go talk to nobody because of y'all. Donald Trump all around this world talking to Putin and everybody else. I don't know why he didn't get arrested. He should have been arrested in jail. All the corruption that Donald Trump has done. And you want to go over there and try to start some mess with Barack Obama, the man that's been peaceful, the man that did not bring any corruption to the United States. Come on, y'all.
I wonder why MAGA is so upset right now, because former US presidents have always remained public figures after leaving office. Look at George W. Bush, traveled internationally. Bill Clinton traveled internationally. Jimmy Carter practically became a global humanitarian figure after his presidency. Even Trump himself remained politically active. held international relationships, attended events, and continued meeting influential people after leaving office the first time. So, why does Obama doing the same thing suddenly create outrage? That's the real question. And the answer may be simpler than people want to admit. Obama still gets under their skin in a way very few political figures do. For many hardcore MAGA supporters, Obama represents, more than just a former president. He represents an era they deeply disliked, politically and culturally. To them, he symbolizes globalism, liberal politics, elite institutions, and of course, everything they believe Trump was elected to fight against. So anytime Obama appears, respected internationally, he frustrates them emotionally, because it clashes with the image they want the world to have about him. What makes this even more ironic is that many of the same people criticizing Obama now stayed completely silent when Trump did similar things after leaving office the first time. Trump has, maintained relationship with international leaders, attended events abroad, and of course remained politically active non-stop. His supporters never saw that as inappropriate. In fact, many praised it. But when Obama shakes hands with, the Canada Prime Minister, suddenly people act like it's some kind of political conspiracy. That double standard is exactly why so many people online are laughing at the outrage right now, because at some point, right, you have to ask, are people upset about the action itself, or are they simply upset because it's Obama? And honestly, a lot of this feels personal more than political. One thing that stands out every time Obama appears publicly is how strongly some MAGA supporters, still reacts emotionally years after he had left office. The man has not been president for a very long time now, yet he still dominates conversations constantly. Why? Because politically, Obama remains symbolic. Even outside office, he still carries influence, popularity internationally, and a certain level of respect from world leaders. And for some Trump supporters, that visibility feels threatening, especially at a time when Americans' relationship with some allies have become more tensed or complicated. That's another layer to this whole situation right now. Well, guys, let's keep watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and credit belongs to original creators of this video.
Former President Obama is in Canada, and the Prime Minister, Mark Carney, greeted him as if he was the incumbent. And I can't say I blame him when the incumbent president is constantly mocking and belittling our allies, treating them like adversaries or worse. The Prime Minister tweeted on X, "Thank you for joining us in Toronto for important conversations on how we can build a better and more just future." Honestly, it couldn't be more great, because it was such a jab at our president currently, where he'd rather take the call of a dictator than of a friend. Maybe former President Obama should start a tour where he goes and visits all of our allies and apologizes on behalf of half of the Americans that didn't vote for this. Because we know that the current president would have a meltdown if he did this. But at this point, since the incumbent gives us headaches on a daily basis, let's give him one and start the Obama apology tour all across the world.
So I was having this exchange with this gentleman on social media today, on Facebook, and we were talking about, we started talking about Michelle Obama versus Melania, but somehow we got onto the subject of Barack Obama. And so he said that Barack Obama was the worst president we've ever had, and that he was the most divisive president we've ever had. Now, I don't know about you, but I've seen where a lot of people, particularly MAGA, they've said that Obama was so divisive. And so I just want to focus on that. And let's just stop pretending. Let's just be truthful. A black man, people, did not divide this country. Racism did. And stay with me, because I'm going to explain to you what I mean. His presidency forced people to see it, whether they wanted to or not. Because what exactly made him divisive? I mean, every speech the man gave, he talked about unity. He always said, I'm your president, it did across party lines. He was everyone's president. He was supporting America, the entire country, whether you agreed with him or not. So what makes people say that he was divisive? I mean, was it his policy or was it his presence? And that's what I think it was, his presence. When he got elected, there was an immediate movement questioning whether he was even born here. Not disagreement. Guys, that was delegitimization. That wasn't policy. That was about who people believed had the right to sit in that office. When he passed healthcare reform, suddenly it was tyranny. But similar ideas before him, because he didn't just come up with affordable health care on his own. Remember, Mitt Romney had basically suggested the same thing for his state anyway. So it wasn't necessarily 100%, his idea. He didn't sit down at a table somewhere one night by a candle and write it, okay? But they did not treat him the same when he came out with this. When he said in response to the Trayvon Martin shooting, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. You already know, that really set him off. He was called divisive for acknowledging something that Black families understood without explanation. I don't think it was just Black families either. I think a lot of white families understood exactly what he was saying. And what he was saying was the absolute truth. That could have easily been my son who went to that store, got those Skittles, came back and got confronted. When the Ferguson unrest happened and he called for calm and accountability and understanding, he was still called divisive. Not because of what he said, but because of what people heard. And what they heard was a challenge. It was a challenge to the version of America they were comfortable with. So let's be honest. Divisive became a code word, a way to say, I don't like what this represents. Because a lot of people were fine with the idea of equality until it looked like him, until it had power, until it couldn't be ignored. So no, he wasn't the most divisive president. He was the moment this country had to confront what it had been avoiding for a very long time. And instead of dealing with it, people blamed him for it. Not because he divided the country, but because he exposed how divided it already was.
It is very important to note that former presidents often act as unofficial diplomatic figures, even without formal power. That's normal. World leaders still need them, because former presidents remain influential public figures with global connections and historical importance. Obama visiting another country is not unusual. Shaking hands with the prime minister is not a problem. Canada welcoming him is not unusual. But in today's political environment, everything becomes culture war material. Every handshake becomes proof of something. Every photo becomes a political battle. Every international trip turns into online outrage. And social media makes it even worse because outrage spreads faster than logic. Algorithm, reward anger. So people screaming, Obama is interfering, get far more attention than people calmly, explaining that former president travel internationally at time. That's why these reactions actually become very, dramatic. And honestly, some of the outrage feels rooted in a deeper frustration. Obama still has star power. Whether people love him or hate him, he still attracts attention globally. Crowds still gather. Leaders still respect him publicly. Media still covers his appearances heavily. For critics, that visibility becomes irritating because they feel he should have politically disappeared after leaving office. But that's not how modern American politics actually works anymore. Former presidents are not permanent public figures. Trump himself changed that dynamic massively. Even after losing office, he remained the center of Republican politics. Those before he became the president now. Before now, he held rallies, endorsed candidates, and of course, continued dominating headlines daily. His supporters, celebrated that visibility. So it becomes difficult to argue former president should suddenly stay quiet only when Obama travels abroad. How ironic is that? That inconsistency is exactly what many people online are pointing out now. And honestly, it reveals something bigger about modern political culture. People often judge actions differently depending on who does them. And if their political side does it, it's leadership. If the other side does it, it's suspicious. That's the reality of partisan, right? Now, what also makes this situation funny to many observers is how intensely emotional some reactions have become. People online are acting as if Obama secretly controls global politics from behind the scene simply because he visited Canada and interacted with world leaders. Meanwhile, the man is literally just doing what former presidents have done for decades: traveling, speaking, attending events, maintaining international relationships. But because Obama remains such a powerful emotional figure in conservative media spaces, even ordinary actions become exaggerated into controversy. And perhaps that says something very important. Maybe the reason some MAGA supporters react, so strongly every time Obama appears is because deep down he still occupies mental space in American politics in a way they cannot actually ignore. Okay, and maybe the reason is because if someone truly did not matter anymore, people will stop reacting every single time they show up somewhere. Yet years later, Obama still trends online regularly, from simply attending event. That alone says a whole lot about him and why MAGA is actually reacting the way they are. Well, guys, share your take with me in the comment. Let's talk about it. What do you guys think about today's video? Comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and drop your own take in the comment section. I would love to read from you guys. I look forward to seeing all on my next, and credit belongs to original creators of this video. See you all on my next video. Bye, my loves.